Now some people don't like for some of the white to still be shown. I don't know if you can really see because the camera isn't focusing. Don't like the white to be shown between the stars a little bit. So my suggestion is to take some silver glitter while the gel is still wet, and you're just gonna dab it with your toothpick in between those areas. I would not suggest completely dumping it on there, and I say that because the top of some of the stars may be wet depending on how much you move them. So I would just scoop a little out and dump it onto the nail in those areas, just so it's not as white. We have to dry this in this state, and you want to make sure all of your stars are lying flat, because if not, they're going to dry sticking up, and there's no way that you can put them back down again after this bottom coat is going to dry. So we're going to put it under the light for 2.5 minutes, and I will be right back. I'm back after I dried this layer under the UV light for 2.5 minutes. Actually turned in 3 because I forgot to watch the clock a little bit, but it's dry. And so as one of my final steps, I'm gonna add a top coat of clear gel. Again, it can be as thick or as thin as you like. I'm just gonna go over the whole nail, and this is going to seal it all and also give you a smooth finish. Make sure to not hit the skin or cuticle area once again, and make sure you cover all of your stars so they are protected. They're actually going to hold onto the nail because of the white coating underneath them, but still you just want to make sure up top so it's not rough, because if the top is rough then it's going to snag on any clothing, and I know the feeling of tearing up clothes due to nails. Okay, just a little bit more. It could be kind of hard to tell how much of clear you have on there because of how shiny this is. Okay, and now we're going to do one final coat. The final coat under the UV light, which should be for 2.5 minutes again. And I will see you all back in just a minute. Okay guys, I'm back again, and the nail is dry, and I'm gonna take a nail wipe. I'm gonna take off the tacky layer on top with my finishing wipe. Uh-oh, got some on my hand. That's what I meant to say. Instead of using the regular nail pad, which may become linty, you want to use a lint-free one. And usually I use lint-free, but sometimes those work. This one is better, especially when using these stars, and that is because the other kind is going to snag on them. So if this one snags, it's not going to leave any loose hairs or strands or anything. And you just go over it, make sure you get all the tackiness off of it. And because I see that I can feel some of the roughness on some of these, I'm going to add a second layer of clear gel. I'm going to put it slightly thicker than before, because again, you don't want it to be rough, the edges sticking up to where they could snag on your clothes. So let me put a little bit more on there. And you don't necessarily have to redo the whole nail, you can just do that one area. I'm just going to lay it on there thicker. Especially around the edges. to make sure they are in there good and securely. And again, if your stars are hanging off on the side, don't worry, because we can fix that by cutting them off after we finish the whole nail. Okay, I'm gonna dry for another 2.5 minutes and I will be right back. Okay, my three minutes under the light is done, and once again I'm gonna take more finishing white onto my lint-free pad and go across the nail. And the second layer of clear did really good because I don't feel any of the stars sticking up. Okay. Now what you need to do is take your white Polar brush and you're gonna lightly buff the top. It's gonna look kind of dusty, but that's fine because you're gonna be able to take the dust off when we add the top coat. But lightly dust it. And we're just buffing out any imperfections and making the whole base smooth. And this is the time where you also want to cut any stars that hang over on the edge. I didn't really get any over the edge except this one. I'm just going to nip it just a little. But I did a good job with keeping them all within. And you can also go back with the finishing white to wipe off the dust if it's really bothering you. Because I know sometimes that absolutely irritates me to see all that dust. So there's your finished look. And now what I'm going to do is add a smile line with silver glitter. Make sure I get all that dust off of there. So I'm going to add a smile line of silver glitter now. My regular striper polish. Uh-oh. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you make a mistake, you can take your toothpick or wood cuticle pusher, and just push the glitter up to where you want it to be. Since the whole gel, not the whole gel, but the whole nail is dry, or I could have said gel. But since the nail is dry, you can just push the line up. And there you have it. I'm gonna let that dry. Try not to blow on it, but let that dry just a little. And now I'm going to take my glass seal and do one coat, let that dry, and then I'm going to do a second coat, and I will be right back. Oh, and also make sure not to brush too hard because the line is kind of wet and you don't want to drag it onto the rest of the nail. But I'll be right back. Okay, I let my glass seal dry. In between two coats, I gave it the first coat I put on, I let it dry for a minute, and then the second coat I let it dry for 2 minutes. And now I'm gonna put on my Super Seal UV gel sealer. I'm just gonna do a thin coat of that. All over the nail, and it's gonna add an additional shine and also durability of your nail. And you want to make sure that you put even strokes onto your nail so that bubbles won't have a chance to pop up in this. And I just have to make sure. I'm just going to put this under the light for no more than a minute because we don't want to over cure the gel, which is possible. So I'm going to say no more than a minute, and I will be right back. Now I'm done from under the UV light with my UV gel sealer, and this is the finished look. Now again, you can use whatever kind of stars you want. I am still in the process of trying to use sequins if I could get them to lay flat, but it's really hard depending on the size that you have. And I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, comments, don't hesitate to message me or comment below. And I hope you all have a very blessed week. Talk to you soon. Bye!